News Talk 760 WJR is proud to present Women Who Lead. Profiling great women impacting the Great Lakes with WJR's Ann Thomas.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Thomas. Welcome to Women Who Lead. My guest today is Teri Racey. Teri is a trained physician assistant, and she's written a new book called Master of the Storm. Teri, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ann.
Talk to us a little bit about this book, Master of the Storm. What's it about?
Well, it's about helping people to master the challenges in their life from a position of wisdom and strength.
And what does that mean?
We all face many, many challenges, small ones on a daily basis, and then catastrophic ones, where there's a death or a job loss. And we can disintegrate emotionally as a result of this, and that would be understandable. What the book offers is a framework or a structure to help people climb out of that in a balanced way, to first get themselves focused and centered and calm, and then begin to observe the challenge that they face from that position of wisdom and strength.
Now, you write this book with a background of being a physician assistant, and you worked in the traditional medical field. Talk to us a little bit about how you started as a physician assistant, and then you've now written a book, and you're blending traditional therapy and non-traditional therapy. Talk to us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and how you got to this point.
As a physician assistant working in traditional medicine, I worked in the fields of orthopedics, plastic surgery, internal medicine, and neurology. So I saw a very wide range of experiences that people had when they were challenged by health issues. And traditional medicine offers a part of the support, but not the whole picture. I was very frustrated, particularly in the area of a chronic disease. Chronic disease is an area where there isn't a lot of support. Medication is not completely effective, and medication gets mounded one on top of the other. Sometimes the second medication treats the secondary side effects of the first medication, and it can be a downward spiral for the individual, making them really dependent on the system and giving them no sense of power. This I identified as a real challenge, a real issue. So I began looking into other forms of support, and mindfulness meditation was the first one that I encountered. I learned through a professional training program with Dr. John Kabat-Zinn at the University of Massachusetts Medical Center. And this program I brought into my practice on an individual basis, and then began expanding it into a group setting. That led to having to prepare all kinds of papers to support people. Concomitantly, this book was developing because I began to recognize that the serial storm dreams I had as a child and moved into adulthood always seemed to come when I was in a crisis state. Mm-hmm. And the message of my dreams, although very frightening, was that although the storm was all around me, I was safe and secure. And I came to understand that that safety and security was my connection to universal wisdom, to the divine connection. And what that allowed me to do was to tap into that connection to move closer into the storm and eventually calm the storm and become empowered by it. Mm-hmm. So I used those tools. I wrote a poem based on the dreams. And then the poem, 6 stanzas long, became 6 steps to empowerment. And then those 6 steps turned into the book that I use with individuals.
So the name of the book is Master of the Storm, and it says life's challenges can transform your world. Now, what you're saying is, as a young child, how young were you when you started having these scary tornado storm dreams?
Maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4. And it was always when you were feeling what you perceived as some type of a stress, or you felt bad about something, and then the dream would come? And so what you're saying is that when people are under stress, they really are feeling a storm. They're feeling
Absolutely.
turmoil.
There's actually a neurochemical storm within them. The epinephrine, the norepinephrine, the cortisol, the stress hormones are all really cooking. They're really elevated. And there's so much of that in your system that it's hard to ground yourself. It's hard to center yourself. And if those neurochemicals stay in place for a long period of time, you end up being physically ill. Being depressed, being anxious, having physical pain, having insomnia. And the entire system is now in serious overdrive. And those vulnerable spots within your physical body and emotional body begin to fall apart.
And that's how you get sick.
That's how you get sick. That's the storm within your body.
So what you're saying is that if we can recognize that, we can start to work on overcoming some of that without medication?
We have, through our experience, there has been a surge of the neurochemicals of stress.
Okay.
So what this book helps you to understand is you have an inner pharmacy that will provide both those neurochemicals of stress and the neurochemicals of relaxation. The tools that are a part of this book will help you understand how you can tap into your inner pharmacy and produce those relaxation hormones at the same time that you are tuning down the neurochemicals of stress in your body. So yes, you can do this without pharmaceutical agents.
Now, you talk a lot about mindfulness. What does that mean? For those of us who are not in the medical community, either in a traditional role or a non-traditional role, we don't really use the word mindfulness. What does it mean?
Mindfulness means being fully present in every moment. Allowing yourself to be fully present with all your senses. To see, to hear, to taste, to touch what is present right now. To let go of the past. To not allow ourselves to move into the future. To be fully present here. That's the only place that you can tap into universal wisdom and tap into your higher mind to help you calm and end the storm.
So what you're saying to us is this is something that we can learn over time? Like, how long would it take me to learn this just to deal with the everyday stress that I might have in my life?
It's variable. Some people catch on very quickly, but usually a course is 6 to 8 weeks. We know in studies of brain plasticity that it takes 21 days for new neurons to develop and therefore new behaviors to cement. So it is a process. In fact, in mindfulness circles, we talk about cultivating practice. That like cultivating a garden, it takes time and care and nurturance and attention.
Would you be willing to give me a little example of what I might experience if I started to actually be more mindful and think about what was really going on within me?
I'd be delighted to give you an example of how you can tap into your own neurochemistry to relax yourself.
We'll be back in just a moment on Women Who Lead. I'm Ann Thomas. Stay with us. Teri Racey is coming up next, and she will give us a little demonstration of mindfulness.
This has been Women Who Lead with Ann Thomas. For more interviews and podcasts, visit WJR.com.